Good morning, everyone. Live with Dr. Mom Moving Forward series. Welcome and hello. Beautiful day today. It's getting to be the summer. The flowers are beautiful outside. I hope you're having a good day like my day is. Just gorgeous outside. Anyway, this is my Moving Forward series. Based on 3 principles, building a strong foundation, goal setting, and consistent professional development or self-development. So this one in particular, I'm just going into, well, I've been probably about 10 days into 52 Women of the Bible. I feel like it's a super good way to become empowered by studying other women who came before us. I have done many studies on women, and it really does inspire me and empower me. It doesn't have to be on the Bible. I've done part of my doctorate studies. I did several other women. I felt it was really important to study women in education. And so it doesn't have to be the Bible, but I find these women very inspirational. The one we're doing is 52 Bible Studies by Jean E. Siswerda. She is moving us through different women it's starting in Genesis and moving forward. We're getting ready to go into Exodus, and that is today in particular is Jochebed, and it's the mother of Moses. And Moses is pretty popular because we've had the 10 Commandments, right? And Moses, we've had a lot of stories on him. So most people know it, even though they may not have seen it in the Bible. But this particular one is sort of the study of Jochebed. When I first heard about Jochebed, I heard about it from my mother-in-law. She actually had a cat named Jochebed. So that's how I first got to know the name, and I've always really loved it. So this is kind of a fun story today. I had a list of who we've already. So this author, particularly in this study, is leading us through the women, each woman in different places of the Bible. We started with Eve and Adam, Sarah and Abraham, Hagar. Hagar was Sarah's handmaiden. Lot's wife, who was turned to a pillar of salt. Rebecca, who had the twins with Isaac, and then Rachel and Leah, who were sisters, and then Tamar, daughter-in-law to Judea, and then yesterday was Potiphar's wife, who was pretty deceptive. Now, okay, so this is the 10th one, the mothers of Moses, so Jochebed. So Moses did actually have 2 mothers, Jochebed and the Pharaoh's daughter, who found him, right, and rescued him from the Nile. So that's where we're at today, which is super exciting. I love this story. And I think most of us probably know it well also. So I don't know how long this is going to be today because I'm in a super big hurry I've got a lot of things to do. It's starting to get to where I'm closer to going mobile, and so it's getting really kind of crunch time. I've got a lot to do this weekend, and then get ready for a yard sale, and then I'll be on my way. Exciting stuff. Okay. So the mother of Moses, her name means the Lord is glory. And I did find a couple quotes for today. The first one is, every year as you grow older, it is your duty to add more years of wisdom. This wisdom may come in many ways. Use it to the best of your abilities. That's actually Jochebed Guama. And the next one is, and Amram took him Jochebed, his father's sister, to wife, and she bare him Aaron and Moses. So Aaron and Moses were the sons of Jochebed and Amram. And the years of the life of Amram were 137 years. Wow, 137. That's Exodus 6:20. It must be getting into Exodus is where they start reminding us of how old everyone is, which I find very interesting also. Super interesting. Okay. Jochebed. Who is Jochebed? So her character was her fierce love of her son coupled with her faith enabled her to act heroically in the midst of great oppression. This is Exodus 2:1-10 and Hebrews 11:23. So the Pharaoh's daughter also is part of this. So the Pharaoh's daughter actually rescued Moses from the river, right? So her character was, okay, must be her character. They're talking about the Pharaoh's daughter, so they are telling us about her. The Jewish people honor men and women who they designate as righteous Gentiles. These are people who, through non-believers, have assisted God's people in some significant way. Surely Pharaoh's daughter should top the list of righteous Gentiles, courageously and compassionately delivering a child from death. A child who would one day act as Israel's great deliverer. Key scriptures, Exodus 2:1-10. Pharaoh gave this order to all his people. Every Hebrew boy that is born you must throw into the Nile. Can you imagine? Oh, it reminds me a little bit of how China had regulations on how many kids they could have, and a lot of the people were getting rid of their second or firstborn if it was a girl. Yikes. That's scary. Okay, so now a man of the house of Levi married a Levite woman, and she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. When she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him for 3 months because of this message of killing your firstborn. But when she could hide him no longer, she placed the child in a basket and put it among the reeds along the bank of the Nile. His sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. Then Pharaoh's daughter went down to the Nile to bathe. She saw the basket among the reeds and saw the baby. He was crying, and she felt sorry for him. This is one of the Hebrew babies, she said. Then the baby's sister asked Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and get one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you?" "Yes, go," she answered, and the girl went and got the baby's mother. That's cool. So the woman took the baby and nursed him. I've always loved this story. Even before I was a Christian, I think all of us have probably, I mean, it was a huge, tremendous production, wasn't it? Back in the day when we didn't have a lot of shows and things on, it was a huge production. Okay, so Moses' mother's life and times. Such an ordinary object used to such extraordinarily, Such an ordinary object used to such or extraordinary purpose. They're talking about baskets here. And it had to have been waterproof, been made pretty darn well if it was put in the, gosh, that would have been hard. I can't even imagine. Imagine with what love and care Jochebed coated the papyrus basket with tar and pitch before placing her precious son within it. Few baskets throughout the centuries likely received as loving and careful a touch. I can't even imagine. Baskets were just one of the many types of vessels used to store and carry various items in the ancient world. I can't even imagine having to do that. See, so we're pretty blessed the times we're living in right now. I mean, there might be a lot of negative, but there's a lot of positive. We don't have to worry about that, right? Baskets were just one of the, okay, in the home, women use baskets to store household items as well as fruit and bread. Brick makers carried their clay in baskets. Travelers used them to carry the supplies they needed for their journey. Priests used baskets to store the bread and wafers that were a part of worship in the tabernacle. Typically made from plant material, leaves, twigs, or stalks, baskets came in a variety of shapes and sizes. The smallest could be carried in one hand. Baskets just a bit larger were carried on the back or on the head and were often used to hold provisions on a trip. The disciples used 12 of these large baskets to gather up the leftovers of the feeding of the 5,000. An even larger basket was used to let Paul escape out of a window in the wall. Oh, at Damascus. That's interesting. Our life and times, God's use of the ordinary to bring about the extraordinary is as much in evidence here in the early events of Exodus as anywhere in Scripture. His tendency to bring about his will through ordinary items, ordinary people, and ordinary events is no less at work today than it was in Jochebed's time. If we look for the signs of his presence, we are sure to discover them. Isn't that the truth, you guys? That's so true. Like, if we aren't quiet enough to see God's miracles today, we're not really paying attention, are we? We're too busy to, I mean, even us just being alive right now is a blessing. Being healthy. Which reminds me, the other day at the gym, so I've been going to the gym since COVID basically broke out. Well, July. I mean, I think it was closed till about July. But I've been going since then, and people are careful. Like, I don't, nobody goes sick. We, of course, spray everything. It's starting to get a little more relaxed, but the other day I was at the gym, and I normally try to stay a machine on the treadmill away from people, but the machines were crowded, and so I jumped on one that was right next to a guy, and as I was starting up my program, I was probably 10 minutes into it. I do like a 20-minute cardio thing. He started coughing, which is okay a little bit. Like, I was coughing this morning because I had swallowed some water wrong. But he was coughing up a storm. And then he kind of stopped, and I'm like, okay, well, that's all right. I'm not real particular, but okay, I didn't do anything. He kept coughing for the next 10 minutes, coughing and gagging and wiping his, oh my gosh. I just thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to start taking vitamin C when I get home. I should have moved, but I didn't want to interrupt he coughed like and something's going around here like the flu now, because one of my friends had it. And so it was probably that, but I'm just like, if you're coughing, you shouldn't be at the gym anywhere. Oh, I'm done. Okay, sorry. Back to Moses. Okay, let's see. I'm not going to read the questions. I don't think we need to go through that. So Jochebed was a courageous and astute mother. To properly understand, this is Exodus 2, 1 through 10. To properly understand the situation, to give context to the story, read Exodus chapter 1. And this is the background. From the death of Joseph, remember Joseph? We talked about Joseph in our last one, and Coat of Many Colors Joseph, and how, oh goodness, yeah, that was the guy, his wife, his wife that was after Joseph, right? And deceitful. Tamar? Was it Tamar? The one we just read yesterday. Gosh, I'm terrible. Like, I can't remember things. The wife of Potiphar. Potiphar, that's it. The wife of Potiphar. So that's what we were reading about Joseph. So Joseph has passed away now. And that's Genesis 50:26. To the rise of a new Pharaoh in Exodus 1:8 was more than 200 years. So 200 years in between. This new Pharaoh does not know about Joseph. The Egyptians view the Israelites with suspicion, for they are growing in numbers. And that's kind of like China too, the same thing. And the Pharaoh is afraid that they may turn against him and leave Egypt, because they were using him for slave labor, building, concrete buildings, I think, and out of bricks. And I'm probably remembering from the movies. He deals with them treacherously, enslaves and oppresses them, and makes their lives bitter. To control their population, he orders the Hebrew midwives to kill all the boys that are born to save the girls. Horrible. However, the midwives fear God above Pharaoh, so they defy him and do not kill the male infants. Pharaoh then commands his people to throw the babies into the Nile River. Horrible. Gosh. The story of Jochebed, the mother of Moses, begins with chapter 2 of Exodus. Most of what we know about her is found in verse 1 through 10. Exodus 6:20 and Numbers 26:59 tells us that her name is Jochebed and that she has 3 children, Aaron, Miriam, and Moses. So, considering the circumstances, Pharaoh commanded to kill all male infants. This is just, do you think courage is required of the Hebrew midwives and mothers, and why? Yeah, because, well, in my opinion, it had to have been scary. Because I don't know, they were defying what Pharaoh commanded them to do. So that would be an impossible situation, wouldn't it? Does Jochebed display courage? Yes, she does. By had to have been courageous, putting your baby in a basket in the Nile River, right? Knowing that God would take care of him, hoping. Remember again, I always have to remind myself, people in the Bible and back in the day, we think of them maybe as superhuman and having all this courage and foresee the future and faith, but they're just like we are today, and that would take a lot of courage, The definition of astute is having or showing shrewdness and an ability to notice and understand things clearly, mentally sharp, or clever. I don't know. This is kind of asking more questions. Is it a surprise? Let's see. This is a fun note. The papyrus basket was a miniature version of Noah's Ark. That's pretty cool. That's Genesis 6:14. Is it a surprise that her older daughter, Miriam, she was only 8 or 10 years old, acts as a sentinel for the baby? Why? Do you suppose she was coached? So she was watching out for the baby to make sure the baby was okay. Do you think she was coached? I think she was probably, she was the baby's sister. So she too, I think they probably had a pretty strong trust in God. Okay, because Jochebed trusts and fears God, he gives this mother the courage and ability to think clearly and creatively, thereby fulfilling God's redemptive plan for Moses and the entire nation. Remember, he goes on to free the people, and Moses, if I can remember right, did not like speaking in public. So like when God told him, take your staff and go to the Pharaoh and speak for me, I want you to set my people free. Moses is like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know what I'm doing. And so it had to have been hard for him as well. And it took a while. There was all kinds of things going on, but he actually freed the people. And then remember, Pharaoh changed his mind after Moses had the people out of there and then parted the Red Sea. Remember that big, huge production of Moses, and then finally, eventually, God gave him the 10 Commandments. So it's a pretty cool movie if you haven't seen it for a while. It's pretty cool. However, so he gives this mother the courage and ability to think clearly and creatively, thereby fulfilling God's redemptive plan for Moses and Ty. So do you think God does that for us today? I think he does, if we allow it. Now, back then they didn't have TVs and a lot of distractions like we have today, but they had distraction. It'd still be hard. Though she is blessed to nurse and nurture him for a short time, she must be willing to relinquish her son to be adopted and raised by someone else. That would have been hard. I don't know how she did it. This is the love of a mother, making great sacrifices and being willing to do the difficult things that parenting requires. As God quietly orchestrates events in the life of Jochebed, be assured that he is working behind the scenes in your life as well. That's what I was thinking too. I think, if we really, now for me, it's easier for me to look back and see where he's been working in my life than it is sometimes to look forward. Although I feel that I'm moving in the right direction, it just feels good within me. So, but it's still scary. Like you're still going, am I making the right decision? Am I doing especially right now, I'm moving through some scary times for myself. And I just have to let go and let God at this point. And know that he's in charge of my life. I'm really short on time today. And Moses is a good book. Today is the 30th already. Dang. So when some basic need is lacking, time, energy, money, consider yourself blessed. Your very lack is an opportunity to latch unto me in unashamed dependence. When you begin a day with inadequate resources, you must concentrate your efforts on the present moment. This is where you're meant to live, in the present. It is the place where I always await you. Awareness of your inadequacy. Okay. Awareness of your inadequacy is a rich blessing, training you to rely wholeheartedly on me. The truth is that self-sufficiency is a myth perpetrated by pride and temporary success. Health and wealth can disappear instantly. We know that. As can life itself. Rejoice in your insufficiency, knowing that my power is made perfect in your weakness. That's James 1:2 and 2 Corinthians 12:9. That's cool. Oh my gosh, tomorrow's May already. May 1st. May 1st, May Day. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's going so fast. Today's going to be 80 though. I love summer. That's my favorite time. Okay, well, I don't have any more today. Oh, I just have to hurry and get things done. I've got so much to do. So little time. I'm running out. So, have a super good weekend. Have a blessed weekend. Enjoy your time. I'll be seeing you on Monday again. I do it Monday through Friday. I just started thinking about it, and when I'm on the road, I don't think I can do this every day because I probably, right at this point, I've got a lot to learn about my RV and traveling and doing this show on the road. So I think I probably can schedule it ahead of time because I'm able to schedule for 1 o'clock. I think I can schedule it ahead of time because I'm going to be on the road driving about 2 weeks. So, and I don't want you guys to forget about me. So I've got to keep it rolling. So that's probably what I'll be doing. Okay. Blessings to all of you. That's all I have today. So I love you all. Much love, much blessings. Have a beautiful weekend.